Hey guys, how's it going? So, I just managed to catch up with freaking Pearl versus Soulgazer for UUPL Simmies. So, in terms of the situation going on, this is Pearl on the, I believe, Meekin Island Monsters and SG, or Soulgazer, of the Route 30 youngsters. The Meekin Monsters are up 5-3, I believe, at the moment. So they're kind of looking to catch any win either from this game or TDK versus Meeps, which should be happening later in the day. I have no idea. And of course, the Battle Girls are really working their way out of a hole with this situation, trying to get that tie break. I believe they were at like 5-1 at the very beginning, and now they've worked their way up to 5-3. So they're making some headway. I don't know if really momentum isn't a thing, so it's not worth all that much. However, we have a pretty interesting team from Pearl. Unique in particular for the Decidueye, which does not see a heck of a lot of play nowadays. It's really sort of gotten thrown to the wayside in the wake of new incorporations to the tier. In earliest stages, people were hyping it up quite a bit, but it has since seen a lot less play. However, it is looking real good in this matchup, in particular for being able to exploit a Amoonguss and really punish Soulgazer's lack of ghost resists, as well as breaking the conventional mold of being a psychic or ghost that is just easily arcade via a pursuit arrow or something to that effect. And as +2 Sucker Punch, I don't think always KOs after Stealth Rock. However, it does have a pretty good shot, and obviously Aerodactyl can't be punched out. So let's see. Looking at the teams, we have a pretty standard thing from both. Is that across the board? Pearl might be running fucking name of the band, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Knicks, which are terrible. Overrated band. Don't listen to them. However, looking at it, neither Pearl potentially weak to a Latias. Well, everyone's potentially weak to a Latias, honestly, unless you have like a really sturdy steel that isn't like completely eviscerated by a coverage option of some vein or the other. However, it looks like they are content trading for bulky waters at this point, and I think this situation favors Pearl just a bit more because obviously the sturdiness of Soulgazer's Latias Togekiss checks are very much inhibited by this process, and especially if you want to force this chip here via that, it can lend itself to a lot of pressure being put on Aerodactyl to check, all this back row, the Latias, the Togekiss, the Decidueye, and Pearl makes an interesting double here. I guess, alright, so Soulgazer's play, he was trying to scout the Thunder or potential Gigavolt Havoc associated with that, whereas Pearl, I think, was trying something a little more mid-ground. I'm not sure exactly what he was shooting for. However, this does put him in an interesting position because Gliscor can be very threatening here, especially if it's Ice Fang, which, shows it right there. Catch the Togekiss. And typically we see a lot of timid max to near max speed Togekiss, which in this case would be outpacing. However, I don't see that happening here because that took that Ice Fang a little bit too well for that to be the case. Now, I also think that Tentacruel took it a little too well to be timid. Yeah, definitely too well to be timid because Tentacruel is not that bulky. So I think we're just going to be seeing him taking a trade and revenge killing, or not even revenge killing, but trying to just push some damage with the Latias. Potentially has Ice Beam. We don't know. He is given very little information about this, but Ice Beam, I think, is a pretty decent tech. It's not really so much exclusively for Gliscor, who I think has been on the downturn as of late, as much as it is just like a middle ground type thing. It's something that can, say, hit an Aerodactyl, a Crocodile, etc., 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 without forcing the attack drops of Draco Meteor. It's a really useful, like, versatile, just middle road attacking move, which we could see, especially on a team like this, whose Gliscor handle is definitely loose. But, of course, in the same vein, we could also be, just anticipating that there is no Gliscor, because Gliscor, as I said, hasn't been seeing that much success recently. If you check the usage stats and whatnot, you could see that Gliscor has been at like a 25% win rate at most of the weeks it's used, and traditionally has been finding itself being used more as death fodder than anything else. So this is somewhat interesting. However, if Pearl wants to set up a win condition at this point, the Empoleon is burned, so that's some progress. He does have Stealth Rock up as well, which puts pressure, I think, allowing him to get the Decidueye. However, the free turn it will be trying to pick up here is not so cut and dry, and what's more, Cobalion is able to revenge kill after a lot of chip. I think that he would need to do something like force the Amoonguss in, and I'm not sure exactly how he would manage to do that. Probably with an aggressive play from Cobalion. Pardon me. However, he does just throw the Draco Meteor, and that was really strong, so I'm potentially thinking choice specs. So, SG does take the opportunity to defog, good for various reasons, and I think that this is an opportunity for Pearl to make a push. I'm not sure. Yeah, I highly doubt that SG would risk the Aerodactyl out of the gate. I think that Cobalion's probably the safest middle ground play for him to, do anything. Yeah, there we go. So, oh, and he does just go for the Spirit Shackle to get chip in. I think that that's fair. Personally, I probably would have just gone for the Z move right there. However, he does just try to shoot for it here, and he does get the crit. I believe it does pick up the KO either which way, so that's not important. And with that Cobalion gone, there is a little bit more leeway for what might be an end game from Crocodile, in fact, something that I hadn't considered before, but if you want to take an alternative angle, at this point, there's always the option of going Decidueye, playing aggressively, forcing the Aerodactyl to revenge kill it, and therein setting up a situation where Crocodile can pursuit trap the arrow and thereafter lend itself to a nasty plot Togekiss sweep. Provided that is the set, because obviously I'm just working off hypotheticals here. But, hard to say for certain. He's going to take this opportunity to get off the Mega, throw a... Really, it's a free Aerial Ace. I mean, like, he can try to throw, like, maybe an Aqua Tail or an Earthquake predicting either of these, but realistically, he is not pressured to make any huge plays out of this Aerodactyl as of yet. He still has his Defogger, who can, get that off against two pretty significant members, ones that need to come in at regular intervals. I don't think that he needs to, make something huge out of these turns, nor do I think he has to try to throw a Pursuit here, should he have it. But he does go for the Fire Fang, which is definitely a unique set. Something I didn't really consider, but looking at the team, he is having a pretty notable Scizor weakness, and does play off the... Is that a Red Hot Chili Pepper sign? Well, I really don't know the... Oh, he's just playing off love songs. Alright, I didn't even... Sorry guys, I was neglecting the nickname game. That is bad though. If you are a newer player, keep your nicknames consistent with the themes presented. You know, just stick to an album, stick to something. Don't go with something like that. That's bad. But ooh, an interesting double for sure. Anticipating either the Cobalion or Decidueye, I think a little more so than Latias. However, I believe that Stone Edge still can or should KO from this range. I'm not entirely sure. I feel like when I have seen it KO, it has been via a freaking adamant arrow. However, he shows the crunch. Wow, this is a very uniquely teched Aerodactyl, something that, you know, you do see, but not so fully invested as with this. You normally don't see that many coverage options, especially on a team where you would think Pursuit support would be a rather cohesive pick. However, yeah, that definitely would kill it, so that is interesting indeed. Now, looking at it, I mean, yeah, without it showing that many moves, you're kind of bound to prompt that Pursuit. And this, more so than anything, sets up that potential for a Decidueye sweep, because, again, looking at it, that Aerodactyl can't be running Roost. There is no way that it can fit that in there, so playing around that, and of course being unable to Spore it, which was his primary like panic button for this kind of situation. Dang, though, he is making some real aggressive plays with this, trying to exploit Pearl's real deep-seated desire to get up those rocks, really keep that Aerodactyl pinned. So, however, of course, there is the option of, I think at this point he can get away with just sacking the Togekiss, because after that, Crocodile does the trap, and he is set getting what he wanted through that Togekiss, I think, in theory, in this long run, done with, you know, the series of Pursuit plays he had already made. So I feel like the play is definitely sacking Togekiss and, you know, really investing in that endgame from Decidueye. Man, I am so good. So that is, in fact, what he's going for. I'm going to take that Pursuit to the bank. Yeah, he would try to withdraw either which way because, you know, hypothetically, Pearl tries to, you know, throw the knockoff, he would go for it. But, yeah, as I said, very promising for the Decidueye. Now, of course, he has to play against the free turns yielded to that Gliscor, which is a very threatening Pokemon at this time. It pretty much forces, really, Latias to come in and throw a strong attack, either Draco or a Ice Beam, potentially, but very doubtfully Trick. Wait, not doubtfully Trick. Doubtfully Ice Beam, potentially Trick. In order to set it up. So he is going to not risk the Latias there. Throw out the Cobalion to get up his rocks as the middle ground, and of course bring in the Latias. Now, are we going to see a double here? No, we're just going to see the Amoonguss come in, I believe. Alright, is he going to go to the Empoleon? He should. Yes, he does. Now, I think, what has it shown? It has shown knockoff Skull Defog. Alright, so this could potentially be decided on Scaldburn, actually, because I think Pearl is somewhat obligated to try for the SD here, but if he does get the Scaldburn, then that is going to seal it for him, unfortunately. I believe that Gliscor will be able to, you know, grab one SD and just endgame there. So he's going for it. Are we going to see it? We don't see a Scaldburn. Okay, this might be game, honestly. I think that Soul Geyser's only other angle at this point is trying to, you know, like play around sucker punches. But he is going to be tossing out the Amoonguss right here. It is useless at this point, doesn't really check anything. It can't mix and match around to get its Regenerator HP up. And I think all he's got left is to try for that Ice Fang, Freeze, or maybe even Flinch, but it might be faster. I don't like 263 Gliscor, but it is used at fair intervals, and jeez, that kills! I did not even think that was that strong. Goodness, I don't see a whole lot of Decidueye. That is ridiculous, and that is a great game. All that is left is Soul Gazer's shot at playing around with Roosts. So, yeah, I mean, we're getting the dots, but, like, really, that's all he's got left. So we're going to see this play out. Now, this is obviously favoring Pearl a whole lot, but we have seen games where this has worked out for the non-Sucker Punch user. I believe the best instance I can think of is HNC versus Piff maybe 1 or 2 UEPLs ago, wherein HNC boosted and avoided all 8 Sucker Punches. However, Pearl gets it right. Really, in the end game, that is a nutty play and a great game from both ends. I liked how this panned out a lot. I like how Pearl played, and it really highlighted how Pokemon such as Decidueye can still see usage, especially in a Amoonguss meta. I like that he expanded on that niche. I like how both players play that, especially the aggressive Aerodactyl plays. I think this was a fantastic game, honestly. So, kudos to both players, and hopefully I did a decent job keeping up with it as the endgame kind of ended up pacing itself a little bit faster than I'm all too accustomed to. However, thank you for watching, guys. I really appreciate it, and I will catch you on the flippity flip.